father, who would be Howard and David and Stan and Carol's grandfather. And he used to tell me about upstate New York, all the fun he had as a child, the Catskill Mountains, the Adirondack Mountains. They'd go there during vacation. And so I made up my mind at an early age, if I ever grew up to be able, I was going to see upstate New York. So I did get a chance to go to Manhattan, New York City, but I still have not fulfilled that desire to go to upstate New York. But he told me many, many stories about growing up in that area. And I know upstate New York is snowy and cold. I don't believe I want to live there, but I would like to visit. And other fond memories I have are my mother, who had two things going against her. She had cancer and she had encephalitis, which was caused by a mosquito. They went out on a picnic and that mosquito bit her and sent poison through her bloodstream and damaged the motor nerves going to the brain. And she did eventually die of not only cancer but encephalitis. So my dad, I lost my mother at the age of 14. Now that would be their grandmother. And I was only 14. So my dad was a tremendous person in my mind because he never remarried. He was both a mother and a father to me from that point on. So I have some very precious memories of my father. And I have pictures of my father in this little tape that Dan is going to try to untangle for me. And that's all I have, because back in those days we didn't have VCRs and that type of thing. So I really have a great heritage in my father. That's really about all I have to say. He was an attorney, and he was the kind of man that he had low overhead. He had a little office. He paid $25 a month rent. So the going rate for a divorce was $300. He charged $150. You know, and so he had every Mexican family in Oakland going after his services because he didn't rip people off. He charged a low amount. So my dad was pretty tremendous. He was a good person.
And what was his name?
His name was Henry Finch Gardner. Henry Finch Gardner. And of course David, his middle name is Harry. My dad would call him Harry. And so David was named David Harry. David was your grandfather on your dad's side, and Harry was the grandfather on my side. So he had both grandfathers.
And then what about your mother? What's her maiden name?
My mother's maiden name was, her first name was Irene Maines. She was Irene Maines Gardner. So I have very cherished memories of my mother and dad.
Did you know your grandparents?
I knew my grandmother on my mother's side, but the grandfather had passed away. And then my grandmother and grandfather on my dad's side, I never knew them. So I was kind of a late in life baby. I think my dad was 41 when I was born. So I didn't get to know but one of my grandparents.
These children are really fortunate. They have two great-grandparents and both their grandparents. You know, it's
Well,
really
this story just come to me, what you wanted to say a while ago when it was about my conversion.
Yeah.